What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to
CM Aviation.
Here, one of you all having a fantastic day today, and today we're going to be taking a look at my 1 to 200 Skymarks and flight miniature collection. So I really hope each and every one of you are excited for today's video, and without any further delay, let's go ahead and get started. So this has been a really cool fleet that's developed in my collection slowly but surely, and I'll explain why it's developed so much, but not really intentional. It's just kind of how it happened, and as you can see now, we have like 24 of these, so probably not that many, 15 or so. But anyway, this fleet's certainly developing rapidly, and as a result, I definitely want to start covering it here on my fleet by type videos. So we have a bunch of really cool aircraft here to take a look at, and I hope all of you are excited for this, as there's some really cool ones here. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and get started. So first and foremost, we have this Delta Doubles DC-3. This is a flight miniature here in 1 to 200 scale. This is a really cool aircraft. I got this for $10. I'll say what I got every model for, so you can understand why it's developed so much, thanks to these airline collectible shows that we'll talk about here a little bit later. But anyway, $10 for this I thought was a really good deal. This is certainly a gorgeous aircraft, and I'm certainly very glad to have it here in the fleet. It looks really good from the colors to the various other components here. It looks really nice, so absolutely super glad to have this, and it's a really cool model here in the flight miniatures fleet. Next, we're going to be heading over to Skymarks with this 1 to 100 scale, actually, AHA Embraer ERG-145. So this was actually sent to me by AHA before they shut down in 2020. I think they made it till early 2023 or late 2022. Anyways, this was sent to me, and really glad to have this model. It's certainly a really cool one. So as you can tell, it's got some nice components to it, and overall it looks like a really great one. So definitely glad to have this. Really sad that unfortunately they bit the bullet, but what can you do? It's certainly not the most logical concept for what they were trying to do to make money, but hey, they did their best, and that's kind of what you can do with the second-hand planes. So yeah, good try by AHA, but unfortunately they weren't the last ones laughing. Next up, we have this Flight Miniatures Boeing 727-200. This is in the Boeing Milestone series that Flight Miniature has. This is a really cool one. This is, I think, my first Flight Miniature, actually, and I believe I got this for $20, I think, which is a fair price for it. Certainly a nice one for sure, and it looks really good, so I'm definitely glad to have this here in the fleet today. Got it at the Atlanta Collectible Show, and I got the Delta at the Los Angeles Collectible Show. So these Flight Miniatures have came home coast to coast. There's no doubt about that. So very glad to have the Delta, or sorry, this is just normal 727. Looks really good, and got this kind of to represent the one that they had at the Museum of Flight in Seattle, Washington. So that was really cool. I definitely got to get to represent that here in my fleet. Several of these are going to come from the Los Angeles Collectible Show from winter 2024, including this United Airlines Boeing 737-300 in the Battleship Gray livery. So this is quite an awesome aircraft. $5 for this one, so way too good of a deal among others that we're going to see here coming up. But this is an awesome aircraft. I love this livery and this aircraft type, so very glad to get to snag this one. It looks really good. 1 to 200 scale once again. Of course, it looks really good. So overall, a very cool aircraft. They did a really good job on this one. Great colors, and it looks really cool. So definitely very glad to have this one right here. Following that, we have the Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-300 with the Canyon Blue Tail in the Arizona 1 livery. So very cool aircraft. This is actually a Hogan 1 to 200 offering with landing gear. So I'll go ahead and kind of show you that so you can see what we're talking about. So really good landing gear. I had to glue them back on, but luckily I was successful. So thank goodness I was. So this aircraft was also $5 because of the guy that I got it off of was selling them all, and I got a bulk discount, so that was crazy. But yeah, really awesome to have this aircraft. Certainly a really good one. I think it definitely serves a really big purpose here in the collection. So definitely really happy with it, and overall it is a really good aircraft. So definitely glad to have it here in the fleet today. Another Flight Miniatures, this time it's a Northwest Airways A320 in the bowling shoe livery. Again, $5, really good. Unfortunately, you can see the fence tip over here on the right side, got a little chipped up there. Otherwise, this aircraft's in perfect condition, excluding this chip here and also the yellow underbelly, but still looks really good. I'm definitely glad to have it here in the fleet today. And it's a really good looking aircraft, so great one right there, and I'm certainly very glad to have it. It is a really cool aircraft, once again, $5, so can't pass that up. This is a Skymarks Light. Skymarks Light Allegiant Air Airbus A320. It looked a little bit better on the side profile of the box when I got it than what it actually does, despite the really, really poor sharklets and the engine. It's honestly pretty good. This was $20 for retail, which I thought was really fair for retail. It doesn't have a registration. It's not the prettiest tool in the shed, but still a cool one to have here in the fleet. So yeah, I certainly learned on Skymarks Light what kind of aircraft you're getting, but that's a Skymarks Light too, and as you can tell, that one's a little bit better, probably because it's a corporate plane. But anyway, still decent. not too ashamed of it. It is what it is. So glad to have it here. It's a cool one, and got a little Legion action here in the 1-200 scale. So that's certainly nice to see that right there. Another flight miniature. This is the U.S. Airways Boeing 777-200 in the Navy livery with the Gen 1 configuration. This stand, I'm not sure if it's actually what it was supposed to go with, but I couldn't find its stand, so I just had to take one out of the box. $5 once again. Fantastic pickup. Certainly very glad to have this one right here. A really good looking aircraft, and I really like the looks of it. So overall, really cool, and definitely glad to have that one right there. Next, you're gonna find this American Airlines Airbus E321 in the stamped cancer livery by Skymarks, and this is a Skymarks, I'm not sure what the sub-brand of it is, but it's a particular Skymarks. I don't think it's the Supreme, but just the Skymarks like Deluxe or one of those. Anyways, this was actually free, came from Aviation Day at Tulsa in 2022 from the American Airlines Tech Ops, so thank you so much, American, for your beyond kind generosity and how kind they were to us that day. What an awesome memory. So glad that I have a model here to represent that memory, and really great one, really good detail, and overall it looks really cool. So really glad to have it. The wood stand's also fantastic. So definitely glad to have that one, and it's really, really sweet. Another epic LAX collectible show pickup was this AirTran Boeing 737-700 in 1-130. $5 once again. You cannot pass this up. This was fantastic. This was certainly worth how much I paid for all of these by itself. So the fact that I got it for a fraction is crazy. Super glad to have this. It looks really cool, and it's definitely going to go well wherever I decide to put it. I'm thinking about possibly staggering them between my die-cast 1-200s. I'm not sure. I've also thought about putting them in the shelf on the other room. So if anybody has any ideas, let me know. I certainly could do quite a bit here with these aircraft, whether I want to display them somewhere in my room or what I want to do with them. But anyway, certainly looks good. Definitely very, very, very glad to have this in the fleet. Certainly a really quality addition. So very happy with that overall in general. American Airlines McDonald's MD-11. This is flight miniatures too. Once again, $5. Absolutely crazy. This is a great one too. Looks really good, and they did a really good job on this one. Nice and simple, and it certainly screams that American Chrome vibe, no doubt about that. So overall, very glad to have that one, and it looks really, really good. So definitely glad to get to see that right there. Here we have a Hawaiian Airbus E330-200. This is in 1-200 here by Skymarks. This one was a little bit more expensive. This was $55, which was the retail at the airplane shop in Miami, is where I got this one, and the Allegiant was Miami too, I should say. I really there wasn't any 1-400s that I just was really just craving to buy. So I was like, if I'm going to spend this much money on a 400, why don't I just go ahead and get some more Skymarks? So that's what I did with this example. It is a nice big aircraft, and it certainly looks good, and I have a really good memory flying this aircraft from Los Angeles to Kahului, Maui, so I was like, why not get it? So very happy with it. It looks really good. So overall, a gorgeous looking airplane, and certainly very glad to have it in the fleet right there. It's certainly a great airplane. And then we have this also from Miami, Emirates Airbus E380. This is a corporate model by them, and this, I think the Skymarks Light, but it's 1-250. It was $25, which I thought was a really good deal for it. Of course, it doesn't really scale up much well with my collection. The only other 1-250 aircraft I have is an American MD-80 by Gemini 250, which was quite interesting. But hey, this is still really cool to have, and I think it's going to look good. It just needs to sit by itself, if that makes sense, to kind of, you know, fits a little weird with these aircraft. But hey, it still works, so definitely glad to have it here. And overall, it still looks pretty good. Now here's a full 1-200. This is a Air India Boeing 747-400. Now this was a Hogan, and it did have landing gear, but unfortunately, those were lost somewhere in transit from the guy to the collectible show, so I couldn't find its gears, so just had to take it as it was. But for $5, I'm absolutely not complaining at all. It does have a couple of nicks, like that winglet over there is chipped just a little bit, and the winglet over here got chipped up. I had to transport it in my backpack, and some pieces got bent up a little bit. But overall, considering the circumstances, I'm super happy to have it. And if I wouldn't have told you, you may not have noticed. So certainly happy with it, and it looks really good in my opinion. Now this aircraft's really cool. I know this doesn't have any genre, but this is where it fits my collection best. This is actually my grandfather built this beautiful B-29 when he was 8 years old. This was in 1950, so really cool to have this. So certainly very awesome to get to add this to the fleet. It is really beat up, as of course it was built working on 100 years, but you can see there the propeller's a little beat up and those landing gears gone. You can see this fish wire actually hung up on the ceiling for quite some time. And but yeah, for considering its age, it certainly held up well. So I'm certainly really glad to have it. I know it's not really, doesn't fit the genre very well, but I just want to put it somewhere in my collection video, and it was still on the table, so why don't we cover it? So still looking very good right here. Last but certainly not least, these are also kind of oddballs for this particular fleet by type, but they still fit in well here, I would argue, so that's why they're here. We have a corporate Citation CJ3 and also this Executive Airshare Phenom 100. So these are really cool corporate aircraft that one of my relatives got at a real estate sale, I believe, and they were like 30 bucks, which is a very good deal for these aircraft. They were probably built for 200 or 300. So these are really cool, and I've always wanted some aircraft like these. So the fact that it worked out here was an absolute blessing, and certainly very glad to have these two in the fleet, as they certainly round out this fleet of aircraft very well. So that's it. This is the last fleet by type video, if I end up uploading them chronologically, which fingers crossed I did, for the 2024 collection video. So I ended up doing 18, which is many more than what I've done in the past. I'm just like, if I'm going to spend all the time to set up this collection, why don't I really make it worth it and film as many fleet by types as possible? So I really hope that you all enjoyed these fleet by types. I'm very hopeful that we will continue. No idea what's going on when this video comes out. Hopefully we're still in good shape, but really excited for the next collection video and hopefully be able to do another follow-up, because this collection is going to grow astronomically with the collectible shows. And that's the last main point I want to make for this video is, if you like getting great deals on aircraft and not too selective on what you want, these flight miniatures and even Skymarks can go for really great deals at these airline collectible shows. So for example, I got like 8 of these at the Los Angeles collectible show for $40 total. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 for 40. That was it. So the fact that I got that and paid $10 more for just this one just really shows you how important these airline collectible shows are, and I can't recommend them enough. So certainly pretty crazy concepts, but that is the truth, ladies and gentlemen, and I can't recommend going after that enough if you are interested in that department. So overall, I'm super happy with this, and with more airline collectible shows that I'll be attending, I'm sure that this collection's only going to grow significantly. So stay on the lookout for it. If you have any recommendations on how I should set it up, let me know. That's currently what I did for the 1-200s, and I think they look really good for the die-cast ones. And then these are probably just going to go on the shelf. I probably won't even spend the time to organize them again due to time constraints and trying to get as many videos going as possible. Speaking of which, it is time to go work on Reno and get that going. So I really hope you all enjoyed this. Thank you all so much for watching. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe. Just process. Do what you love and love you do. My name is Red Deer of Aviation. Well, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon, as Red Deer of Aviation is signing off.